One trendy thing I've heard a lot is that small talk is, distasteful and not really, uh, where there's not a whole lot of depth. But I had this thought about this talking with a friend, and it we kind of explored that, and it's good to know, or important to realize, that oftentimes people are like feel uncomfortable with meeting a new person. And sometimes you guys start with the small talk to get to the deep thoughts. You guys start off on a level playing field, like knowing, like just getting some common ground, and simplicity is nice. And eventually, as things develop, if there's some kind of chemistry, then you can go on to deeper topics and stuff. So I see no problem with small talk. I think it's perfectly fine. I mean, if all you do is small talk, then you know that's shallow, and usually indicative that there's some kind of insecurities. And with insecurities, you want to stay secret. You don't want to be judged. But we all judge, and we all. It's like judgment is just our perceptions. It's just how we perceive things here, and so that's perfectly fine. I've learned to grow in not letting it bother me if people judge me. I mean, that can go a lot of different ways. It doesn't feel good to be misunderstood. And, relationships are delicate things, and trust can easily be broken. And not to divulge too much into the depths of relationships, but I have noticed it's 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 kind of a pandemic how uncomfortable people are around each other. And authenticity makes people feel comfortable. I've noticed with myself. I mean, there is, the other side of that, which is oversharing. And I've also done that and usually know it right after I do it. But sometimes I also err on the side of being like too comfortable, and I've noticed I've made people uncomfortable. I've been in a jam where I got irritated at a friend for a split second, and it's like they wanted to play in one key, but I wanted to practice this in another key, and in front of everyone, I'm just like, no, I'm gonna do this, which isn't horrible, but it's always good to talk about it with your friend. Communication is so important for relationships. I mean, this is a known thing, but it takes a lot of authenticity, a lot of honesty, and it's interesting because I think that's why a lot of people have dogs. Is because dogs, I see it all the time when people are walking their dogs or taking their dogs to the dog park. It's like their dogs are friendly enough to socialize oftentimes, and then little conversations come about, and that's kind of the breaking the ice for a lot of people. If their dogs can be friends, there's a chance they can be friends, which I think is pretty cute. Because not everyone's like bold and sometimes brash like I am. At least I'm aware of it, and I've had to go back so many times and connect with a person I was maybe rude to, because we all have angst in certain moments, or bothered, or a little triggered or something, and to be able to explain. It's not that you have to explain yourself for everything, but it does nurture a relationship to be able to explain to someone why you might have lashed out. It's not that you're making excuses. Like, you can own it. Owning it is very important, but also being vulnerable and tender enough to be like, look, sorry, I just was a little out of line, a little out of character, is how I like to say it. Because my vibe, I want to be friendly and nurturing, and I want to make people feel more comfortable to be themselves and express themselves, and especially in musical situations, to be able to really get the magic going between the synergy of people and the coalescence of us together, the gestalt, which I've mentioned in other videos, which is the whole is more than just the sum of its parts. When the whole is together, it's even more. It's like an amplification of creativity and energy. When everyone comes together in, say, like a songwriting or a writing session, or like a jam, or a creative endeavor, when people are together with the same energy, it's amplified. And I've seen that time and time again and experienced it. And it's just an interesting observation. It's a thing I've been learning lately and exploring. And I'm just, I want to be an encouragement, and I feel like it helps me to even make these videos and talk about it and process it out loud. I know I'm not the only one, just from talking to other friends who've been in similar situations. It's just a common thing with human interactions for misunderstandings to happen, and to be able to check in with someone and revisit and just clear the air, just make sure everything's okay. And that's how you make relationships last. And I've been blessed to have some long-lasting relationships. Even, it's like our authenticity was so true that even going long periods of time without talking, like you can basically take off from where you started, and that's one area I'm growing in, and I see my friends growing in, nurturing relationships, and it's all part of the community, the strength of community. And I know I'm probably saying things you already agree, but it's like the more energy you put out there in that way,